In the US, laying out a funeral costs about $5,000. In China, you can accidentally start one at dinner table for absolutely free, and all it takes is this. Hello, this is Vicky, your China lifestyle decoder. Today I want to invite you to have a dinner with me and let's talk about minutes of rules and manners in China. Okay, I just cooked two dishes for myself. One is twice cooked pork and the other one is green bean strips. Yummy! Let's continue this topic. Imagine you just arrived in China, you sit down for your first real meal. You are excited, you grab your chopsticks and you stick them upright into your bowl of rice. Suddenly, the entire table will go quiet. Someone leans over and whispers, "Don't do that," because you have committed a cultural taboo and you have no idea why. Now, don't panic. Chinese people are incredibly welcoming and absolutely nobody expects a foreigner to know every single Asian custom. But if you do want to vibe like a local, avoid looking like an obvious tourist, and understand how the culture actually works, today we are talking about 3 hidden food codes that may confuse you the most, and also a free survival trick to save yourself when you inevitably screw up. Let's start with something you'll notice within your first 5 minutes meeting a Chinese person or first day of landing in Shanghai or Beijing. When you smile warmly at a stranger on the street and they just look at you. No return smile, no "hey buddy," no hugging. If you are from America, your first thought is probably, wow, are they cold or are they unfriendly? Actually, it's the exact opposite. In cultural psychology, we see people from the US, Italy, or some other countries are peaches, soft, sweet, and friendly, but you will hit a hard shell once you try to get deeply personal. How about Chinese people? We are like coconuts, hard to crack on the outside, guarded and quiet. But once you break through that shell, it is pure sweetness, warmth, and loyalty for life. In China, keeping a polite distance with strangers isn't coldness, it's respect for your privacy. You don't force intimacy on someone you don't know. The Western way is I'm friendly first, we will figure out trust later. But the Chinese way is I respect your space first, we will get close when it is right. Neither is better, they are just different. But now back to that quiet dinner table. Why did sticking your chopsticks in the rice bowl ruin the mood? Because in China, the only time chopsticks are placed vertically in a bowl is at a funeral, where rice is offered to ancestral spirits. By doing this, you are literally telling your host this meal feels like a funeral. It's just a bit of a spooky bad omen at a happy gathering. If you need to put them down, just lay them flat across the rim of your bowl or use a little rest next to your plate. While you are at it, watch out for the graveyard digger. This is when a shared dish comes to the table, and someone uses their chopsticks to throw the food around, stirring everything up to find the best piece at the bottom. It just looks like a bit messy. The local etiquette is to take what's on the top or what's closest to you. And a quick mental note, try not to point at people with your chopsticks while talking. To Chinese person, that is the visual equivalent of pointing finger directly in someone's face. It is a bit too aggressive. Let's say you get invited to a local friend's apartment, you want to be a great guest, so you bring a nice box of chocolates. You hand it over, expecting them to open it and say, "Wow, my God, I love it." Instead, your friend takes it, says a quick thank you, and immediately sets it aside on the counter, completely unopened. In the West, you may think, well, they hated it, but in China, opening a gift right in front of the giver can feel a bit awkward. It looks like you are rushing to check the price tag or judging how much they spent on you. This is all ties into one heavy word that unlocks all of Chinese society, 面子, or it is face. But face in China isn't about being prideful, it's about mutual comfort. In the West, you give someone face by showing loud, energetic excitement. In China, your friend is giving you face by putting the gift away. They want to protect both of you from any potential awkwardness regarding how big, small, or expensive the gift is. They will open it privately later and text you how much they loved it. So how do you show your hosts you appreciate them without interrupting the conversation? Here's a pro tip that will instantly make you look like an absolute China insider. When someone pours tea or beer for you, don't interrupt the conversation to say thank you every 5 seconds. Instead, do this. Take your index and the middle finger, bend them slightly, and tap the table twice. This is called the finger koto. Legend has said an ancient Chinese emperor used to travel in disguise. When he poured tea for his servants, they couldn't bow down without revealing his royalty identity, so they invented this two-finger tap to represent bending their knees in gratitude. It's a subtle, cool way to say thank you while keeping the good vibes and the conversation flowing. But what if you do mess up? You forgot the rule, stack your chopsticks in the rice, and notice that quiet vibe. How do you save the moment without speaking fluent Mandarin? Do not stress, and don't start a massive, awkward apology. Chinese dining has a built-in incredibly fun cultural reset button, the penalty cup, 自罚一杯. And you just need to look at your host, smile, raise your glasses with both hands to show your respect, and say this one simple phrase, 不好意思. It literally means I feel very sorry if I did something wrong. Then you take that shot. Whether it is a sip of beer or a taste of Chinese baijiu or just a tea or fruit if you don't drink alcohol. In Chinese food culture, owning your own mistake with a light-hearted penalty cup shows amazing humility and great energy. Instantly, the whole table will laugh. Someone will wave their hands and say 没关系, which means no worries. And you have just turned a tiny awkward mistake into the warmest, most bonding moment of this dinner. All in all, Western friendliness is about being direct. Chinese hospitality is about being thoughtful and making sure everyone is comfortable. But be relaxed if you are planning to go to China or just hosting a Chinese friend in your place. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to have fun and enjoy everything. We are highly friendly. Now, if you are ever curious about where did all of these rules come from, the answer is over 3 years old. In ancient China, during a dynasty called Zhou, they came up a system called 礼乐, which means ritual and music. But don't let the word music fool you. This wasn't about entertainment. It was about control, about order. Here's how strict it was. The number of cooking pots you used: 9 for the king, 7 for a duke, 5 for a minister, and 3 for a scholar. Your rank was literally measured by how many pots you ate from. Today, I only used 1 pot, which means I was in the lower rank in the society. It is not about hunger, it is only about identity. 3,000 years ago, the Chinese believed that your rules define who you are, and we built an entire civilization around that idea. Today, when a Chinese person uses 2 hands to hand you something, or doesn't open a gift in front of you, or taps a table when you pour tea, they are not just being polite, they are continuing a tradition that has been passed down for over 100 generations. Okay, that's it for today. I want to hear from you. Among the rules we mentioned today, which one do you think is the most unexpected? Let's chat in the comments. Make sure to hit subscribe to Wikipedia China for more insights into real China life. See you in the next one.